Well, on that May segment we did on plots, we got a few questions come in, and Excalibur had a few questions come in off the website too. We're going to reply to everybody, but we're going to hit a couple of those questions here right now.
This is one of the questions we got a ton, and I'll just pick the one. Brad from Oklahoma says, how much start to finish does it cost to put in a plot?
More money than I have. That's a good question, and it's an awkward question because there's no really good answer to that. We've found you can spend as much or as little on a plot as you want, and it doesn't always dictate how good the plot comes out because you can't buy rain, you can't buy the growing season conditions. So there's been years where we've really went deep into plots and sprayed out the weeds a couple times a year, spent a lot of money on fertilizer and seed, and tried to have an art project of a plot come fall. And then there's been other years where we didn't have the means or we didn't have the time to put into it, so we put in a lot quicker, a lot rougher plots, and both did really well. It depends what you want to do, but you don't have to invest a pile in to get started. You can go in, you can get a plot started. That's going to give you the most information, because at the end of the year you're going to have an idea of what you wish you had done different, what worked, what didn't work, and then you adjust your strategy from there. But you definitely don't need to invest a pile of cash just to get a good plot out of it.
This kind of goes along with the cash thing too, but I see this is the only question we got once. It says, do you need a tractor to put plots in?
You'd have to ask somebody with a tractor. We've got a tractor. We've got a 1950 something Case 900. It hasn't ran for a few years. We've borrowed the neighbors a couple times. We've borrowed friends. A tractor is really helpful. Do you need one? No. Scott Peters, he shot a Boone and Crockett deer this year off a plot that he put in that he didn't have a tractor. He used his ATV and a disc and put weight on the disc and roughed the ground up. He ended up using some no plow from Whitetail Institute that, he didn't need a really good worked soil bed. You don't need a tractor, but a tractor definitely helps. We found most places guys hunt, a lot of places guys hunt, there's farming around. You usually know the farmers. To disc up a plot takes, an hour. A lot of them will swing by and do it for you. But if not, if you have an ATV, if you have a rake, there's a way. There's a way to get it done. A tractor is probably the best way, but there's other ways.
We got Ryan from Alberta asking here, is a water source on a property as important as a food plot, or does it even matter?
Oh, I think it matters. I think it matters a lot. It's hard to gauge importance, but deer need water to live. So when you're putting in a food plot, you're just making that property more attractive for deer to, to visit that property or to stay that property, to live, and grow up on that property. Water, they need water to live. Where the food source, the food plot, is making that property more attractive. If you remove that food plot from that property, there's still browse, there's still grass, there's still natural habitat there for those deer to survive on. If there's no water in the area, you're not going to have a lot of deer because they need, they need that water source to survive. So at the end of the day, if you're, wanting to manage a property or improve a property, water should be right at the top of your list. We put water into 2 of our plots, one with a dugout. The other property actually had a well on it, so we just ran a line on the surface out to a trough with a little float on it to keep water there. And in 2.5 or 3 days, we can inventory every deer on that square mile will be at that water, because we don't have any other water source there for it. It's another mile away from that property. As soon as we put that water in, those deer started leaving a lot less because they had that water source there. Those deer are going to visit water. It doesn't matter where that water is. They're going to go and visit. They have to. Food, they've got a choice. Water, not so much. So water to us, very important. And we're not experts. We don't have all the answers. We've only learned through our experiences what's worked and what hasn't worked. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. You can ask them right here in the comments. For me, for anybody that we film with, for Steve is more than happy to come in and answer anybody's questions. And you can also go to the excaliburcrossbow.com website. They've kind of set up a real life deer management quiz where you can go through. You can answer the questions. You can see how we answered the questions, and you can kind of see where we're coming from. And at the end of that, you can submit your questions there as well. So one way or another, if anybody that asks a question, we will get back to you. So don't forget to check it out at excaliburcrossbow.com.